Welcome back to another episode of Under the Rug Podcast, Season 3. You know how we doing it. New platform, same conversation, same impact. It's your boy at CK3 the Thrill, the co-host. I'm joined here with my boy.
Honorable Tino, you know what I'm saying, a.k.a. Franklin Lyman, a.k.a. Moneybags. Oh, and also, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button, because you know what I found out, Cameron?
What you find out, bro? What you find out?
75% of our viewers aren't subscribed to us.
That don't make no sense. Here's my thing. It don't hurt you to take 2 extra seconds to take your mouse and scroll down approximately 2 inches and click subscribe. It don't hurt you. It ain't gonna make you look no different. Like, you know what I'm saying? But hey, and shout out to the people who be coming in on the videos, bro. Like last episode we posted.
Who M. Harris? Shout out M. Harris.
Hey, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate them comments, you know, saying you appreciate the conversation, talking about we gained a new fan, man. That stuff means a lot to us, you know, because you got people who going to hate on you, got people who going to slander you. But when you see messages like that, hey, quick shout out to the Coffee Break Podcast as well. I'm going to shout you guys out because y'all shot us a DM saying that we inspired you guys to start a podcast. Like, that's the type of stuff that matters. That's the type of stuff that gets us here doing another episode. So I appreciate y'all guys. We supporting y'all. We hope to get y'all on this podcast soon. Collab, you know what I'm saying? Keep making a difference. Shout out to y'all. Salute. You feel me? How you living though, bro? What's good on your end?
You know what I'm saying? I just feel like there's a lot under the rug. So I just want to know. I just want to know, man. Why is it that men don't show emotion?
Why is it that men don't show emotion? You know, I got a couple issues with that question already off rip because it's like, I think it's so there's two, I think there's two approaches to this emotion thing when it comes to men, right? Like you have society and then you have women. And so in society, it's like, why do men not show emotions? And then in relationships, it's like, why do men not show emotions? And I honestly don't think it's like that men don't show emotions. I just think we show our emotions in a different way than women. And I don't think women are more emotional than men, right? I just think women show their emotions, like they respond and react to it differently than men do, which makes them look more emotional. And because of that, everybody wants to say that men don't show emotions, but that's not true. We're just not going to go, you know, cry about it or go talk to the guys about it. You know, we're just going to show it in a different way.
We'll show emotions, but we're not going to show emotions. You feel me? Like
Exactly. Like we still showing it, but we just not showing it like you are. So we're not hiding our emotions. We just communicate it in a different way. But there's a lot of variables that go into that. So what you think? Like, why do you feel like men feel like they have to kind of keep their emotions within or deal with them in a different way than women?
I feel like just with the nature of being a man in the world and having to survive or respond and, you know, build a legacy and do what you need to do in life in general, you have to be a superhero, right? And you don't really see Superman sweat unless there's some kryptonite around. Like, I feel like people have to act in a way as if, you know, not to say that they never had a bad day. They have to act in a way that it's like, oh, I'm very prepared. Like I have it all together, so forth. And I feel like that hurts in certain areas because a lot of us are dealing with the same thing. Like even when you talk about like, say, crying, like we're thinking like, oh man, nah, you can't cry. But I feel like it's not healthy to ever like have an emotion and be like, nah, I need to not have this emotion. I need to put this somewhere else. And because I feel like you can only do that for so long. You can only have pent up feelings for so long.
Now, I definitely agree. And I think if you never address it, then that's an issue. So I think it's important, real quick, I want to hit on that superhero point that you brought up, because I was asking a couple people, like, you know, why do you feel like men hide emotions? And one of my guys that hit me up and responded to the question was like, you know, men have this desire to be leaders in society. And so as soon as you show emotion, your followers aren't going to feel like they can trust you in tough situations. And so we feel like we got to mask these emotions a lot so that we can uphold that image of, hey, look, no matter what we're going through, it's not going to faze me. You know what I'm saying? So that we can continue to inspire those around us to help them get up out of their emotions. But like you said, hiding those emotions, keeping them within, that's not good for you. So it's important to understand what an emotion is, because I don't think emotion and feelings are the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, emotion is a choice. I feel like feeling is something that's natural. And this is me personally. Like, I feel like when something happens to you, your initial response is like what you feel, right? And the issue is a lot of people get stuck in their feelings and they aren't able to overcome their feelings. And so when you get stuck in your feelings, it creates these negative emotions, and then you respond and you begin to display those negative emotions. But when you are able to take ownership of your feelings, you exhibit a stronger emotion, which gives off more positivity. You see what I'm saying? So I think emotion is honestly what comes from your ability to experience something, process it, and react. And ultimately, that's emotional intelligence, which in season 2 we talked about. Emotional intelligence isn't talked about enough. And I want to specifically say emotional intelligence isn't talked about enough in the Black community. What you think about that?
That's true. No, that's true. I honestly want to go back to something you said earlier in that statement. You said that sometimes, like if you're in a leadership position, you have to not show emotion, or else people are not going to trust you. And that's sort of interesting to me, because, like you say, like emotion is a choice. But like if somebody says something funny, do you choose to laugh or do you just laugh?
I think you have I think there's some, like, you know what I'm saying? It's your initial reaction. Intuition is the word I'm looking for, right? Like, your intuition is naturally, like, that's just a natural response. And we kind of talked about this in the last episode. I feel like that comes from something internal. So the more that you work on your internal values and what you place importance on determines what your intuition is. And so when it comes to something that's funny, like, you've already identified with that in the past. And so when somebody says something that you've already identified with that's funny in the past, when they say it in the present, it's gonna be funny again, right? But I don't think funny is a bad emotion or feeling to have unless it's in a serious conversation. I think when we're talking about emotions, we're talking about the ability to be vulnerable, right? And when we're talking about vulnerability, a lot of people go to relationships. And I feel like women don't understand men. And because of that, when a man isn't displaying their emotions like a woman wants to, it's like, oh, you're not being emotional. It's like, no, I just don't display my emotions the same way that you do, which has been already proven through a lot of neuroscientists. They do the MRI scans and they've shown that men and women have different structured brains, right? And so once you understand that, my brain is structured different from yours. So yes, you communicate your emotions better. I will give that to women. Like, women communicate their emotions a lot better than men. But the issue is women expect men to be able to communicate their emotions just like them. Well, that's not going to happen, right? Because men are wired differently than women. And that's okay. That's fine. Like, that's how God made us. And so I think the quicker that women are able to identify, like, okay, my man is probably not going to tell me that he's feeling this way, but I can identify different patterns of behavior that show he's feeling this way. And as a man, it's like, when a woman expresses her emotions, it's like, that's what she's wired to do. So maybe I shouldn't get upset that she's telling me how she feels. I should just address that, right? The same way that we want them to respect how we show emotions, we have to respect how they show emotions. So I think it's important to understand that difference.
This is so interesting. I actually like this conversation, but I want to go back to, and I keep going back to stuff. I want to go back to one of the statements you said. Laughter and happy is a good emotion, like emotions you should show. That's interesting to me. So there's good emotions and there's bad emotions.
100%.
So say, for instance, if you're sad, you probably shouldn't show that you're sad in that space.
Right.
But like even at a funeral.
So here's my thing, right? I think it's important to feel what you feel, but I think it's more important to not get stuck in how you're feeling. So bringing up the funeral instance, obviously you lose a loved one, that's tough. You shouldn't act like you're just big dog, big Superman. You know what I'm saying? It's all going to be okay. Like, nah, take the time to feel what you feel. Grieve, feel the sorrow, feel the remorse. You know what I'm saying? Like feel every emotion that you have towards that, right? But it's important that you do not remain stuck in that. So at a funeral in that setting, like, yeah, you're probably gonna be sad. This is your last time laying eyes on this person in the casket that you just saw alive, that you were just talking to. Like, I'm not acting like it's easy to be optimistic in that standpoint, right? But I truly believe once you leave that funeral, you know what I'm saying, you have the burial, like, it's still gonna be tough. I'm not blowing past that at all. But at some point, you have to turn those negative feelings into a catapult of positivity. Because what I always tell myself when I lose a family member, they don't want me to remain stuck in these feelings forever, right? And so the best way that you can honor somebody who has passed away is living your life to the fullest to represent them. It's not by being sad and being contained to that situation that happened, right? Because you're not going to be able to change that outcome. No matter what you do, you're not going to bring nobody back to life. There's only one person who did that. That's Jesus Christ, right? And so the more you get stuck in like, I wish I would, I wish I could, I wish I should have did this more, did that more. Like the reality of it is it's done. As much as that hurts, it's done, it's gone, right? So I always encourage people like, what can you do now to uphold the legacy of that person? How can you continue to make sure that people don't forget their name? You know what I'm saying? Like live for them. That's turning feelings into a powerful emotion of positivity. And when you do that through your actions, you inspire other people. You see what I'm saying? Like I study stoicism a lot, but it's also a lot that I don't agree with stoicism, because sometimes I feel like stoicism doesn't deal with emotions and feelings. Like it's like, oh, that doesn't exist, let it pass by. It's like, nah, like it does exist, right? When something bad happens, like you're going to feel some kind of emotion or feeling towards that. But I think the flip to different people is like, how are you able to respond to these emotions and feelings? Or do you allow it to mess you up for the rest of your life, or do you move forward, right? And I think about my older brother and me, right? Like with our football situations with the NFL, you know, things not going as planned. It's like, that's such a tough emotion that a lot of people will never understand until they're in that situation. But we both had a choice to be stuck in it or move beyond it. And I think my older brother, he was stuck in it for a while, and I didn't understand it until I went through it. But he has moved beyond it, right? And you can just see the difference in his life because he was able to finally get unstuck from those emotions and feelings and start impacting the lives of other people. I was able to do the same thing. It probably took me a year, but I was finally able to turn the corner like, yo, those emotions and feelings, that moment, it doesn't define me. Like, I still have the ability to live. Every day that you wake up means you have another opportunity to live. It means you have another purpose. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have a purpose to live for. So I think it's crucial that people don't allow traumatic events and incidents in their lives to define their lives. Like, it's just a part of your story. Now, how you incorporate into the story, that's your choice. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Honestly, I remember I was talking to somebody else. I couldn't imagine like how it feels to like be doing something your whole life, and then you know that collapse, like not do it anymore. Cause I remember I was at the Just Heal Bro joint, and they were talking about like wanting to make rash decisions after not making it to the league, or want to make rash decisions, not able to do whatever that they were doing at the time. And I feel like a lot of that manifests within the community, like especially like because the reason I feel like people hide their emotions is because if you look at things that happen, whether it be someone like the guy who shot 12 people in Memphis one day, or like someone that shoots up a school, like we live in this age and era where everybody like has their safe space on the internet, right? Like imagine, you're a girl, you're very pretty, right? You take pictures and then you drop them on the gram and you mess around, get 8 likes, right? I feel like the way we view things now and just
it's like an automatic like validation.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, it's like
And that's
if
why I feel
people,
like it's so much crime. Like people who be run up in people's
exactly,
houses, like people be really messed up about being broke. Like
yeah,
I feel like because of the internet, and just because of the way we process our emotions, we hide things. We put on that superhero thing. We're I'm that dude. I'm this. I'm that, and the other. It sucks to say, but like a lot of us are like getting all our validations like the internet. Like
yeah,
there's no reason you can be someone who, like we always talk about, never had to sell crack, never had to go missing a meal, and you go out and you just wanna hit licks, you wanna scam, you wanna do so forth and such. But
yeah.
people like are feeling like deep sadness just about themselves. Like I feel like vanity is an all-time high and self-worth is at a very low. You can look at with OnlyFans and people.
100%. And I think that, you know what I'm saying, I call it like a soda can mentality, right? Like you shake up the soda can, you shake it up, you shake it up, you shake it up. Well, as soon as you open that soda can a little bit, it's an explosion, right? And like people can easily be like, oh, you shouldn't have been shaking the soda can up, but it's like, yo, why were you doing that? And so I think back to a lot of the stuff that you're saying, and I feel like that all comes down to vulnerability. Like social media doesn't respect vulnerability,
You can't be
right?
vulnerable and also like pick and choose which emotion you want to have.
Exactly. But like it's like I think there's not enough transparency on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something I started to realize as of late. It's like social media is a way to show other people that you're okay when you're not. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the facts of the matter, right? It goes back to like you're showing you're at the club, you're showing you got this outfit on, you're showing you're traveling here, traveling there. Like if you're doing that for you, great, cool, right? But I would argue that some people post that stuff to make it look like they're okay and they're not. And then you see somebody commit suicide and it's like, oh my God, what happened? They look so good. Like it looked like they were having fun. But a lot of that stuff can be a front, right? And like one of the realest social media posts I had was right before I moved out here, you know, it was like just me being transparent with everything that's going on in my life in the past year. And I'm telling people like, you know, I might get on here and I might post that I'm strong. I might encourage you, this and that. But truth be told, I was broken the whole year of like 2022, right? Like I'm just now turning it around. But after I stopped playing football, it took a piece out of me. And with this episode being like, why do men not show emotions? Like I felt like I couldn't show my emotions when it happened because I had been in the national spotlight. I get cut from the Buccaneers. I got people saying, you know, I told you so. Like, you shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that. I got people supporting me up here when I signed my contract. Now I don't have anybody supporting me when I get cut. Like, all that stuff is eating at me, right? And so me, I'm like, you know, I just got to remain strong, act like it's not phasing me. And I tried to do that, and I ultimately collapsed, right? Like, and I didn't collapse in a sense of where I attempted to take my own life. Like, I collapsed in a way of the way I treat other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't myself. And I could see that. And looking back, like it hurts that I wasn't able to realize that earlier. But it's like, yo, when you don't show your emotions, when you don't talk it out with other people, when you don't get it out of your chest, when you bottle it up, you will explode. And your explosion can sometimes cost like other people's feelings. You know what I'm saying? And now you have a ripple effect. And so it's important when you feel what you feel, like, yo, talk about it. It doesn't make you any less of a man. Like you are entitled to feel what you feel. You're just not entitled to get stuck in your emotions. That's my philosophy. Like, yo, feel what you feel, but I'm not gonna allow you to stay there because you have a choice to stay there or respond to it. And I finally was able to respond to one of the most difficult situations I've been in my life. And you know this, bro. Like a lot of people
Oh, yeah.
don't truly understand how much that NFL stuff meant to me because of how
They just want
much
to
of
go to
a
the
like
after party and take pictures
you know
with you.
what I'm saying? But
You
like
know,
a lot of people don't know like how much I work for that. Like you met me in 7th grade.
that's
You
why.
remember how
Hey
I
man,
look. You feel
hey
me?
man. I know we want to protect the brand, and I know you got an image. I know you have a career, but I just want to say something, man. You don't feel like I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it cordial. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping media trained. You don't feel like being put in a position where your emotions and feelings literally didn't matter, whether or not they were based on truth, whether or not they were based on morality, whether or not you know you were telling the truth. You don't
Right.
feel like having to hide your emotions and like hide your real story like had a negative effect on you and could have played out better if you could have just been able to show those bad emotions.
100%. Like so, you know what I'm saying? Like we can keep it real, right? Like if we look back at that journey, we look back at everything that happened, right? Like I lose my starting job my senior year at the academy. I'm team captain, right? Boom. emotion masking number one. I can't be out here complaining this and that about that. Like, I'm still team captain. I got to put on for the teammates. That's me masking my emotions number one. We go to the rest of the season. We lose the Army. I played the last 2 snaps of that game. This is my last football game of my career in my mind, right? So I'm already like, man, this is crazy, right? Masking emotions number 2. Then I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and go for the NFL. I declare for the draft, whatever. People saying, like, why is he doing that, talking about it? I'm not responding. We're masking emotions number 3, right? Now I go about the journey, get back to the academy, COVID, no places to train because everything's closed because of COVID. I don't know if I'm having a pro day. Again, not complaining, just grinding.
What were you lifting weights on?
No, I'm on some pads stacked on top of each other in an abandoned track shed.
What was you lifting?
It wasn't even 225. It was probably about 150, 160. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I had to go run in the field.
So that's masking emotions number 4, right?
On wood.
You feel me? And so I finally I call Memphis. I'm like, yo, can I come do my pro day? They let me do my pro day down there. I get on NFL Network, and then Navy lets me have a pro day, right? Rather than, you know what I'm saying?
Was it a pro day? Was that done in Memphis?
You said what?
Wasn't that done in Memphis?
So I did a pro day in Memphis, right? This is when Navy was saying we don't know if we can have a pro day. So I did one in Memphis, did my interview on NFL Network, then I had a pro day at Navy after that.
Did you ever train for the NFL with like coaches and whatnot in a
facilities closed? You know what I'm saying? Like some
I'm saying, like in any sense, like even the facilities closed, like the YMCA wasn't open.
Cause we ain't got no YMCA in Maryland.
But you know what I'm saying though, like it wasn't nowhere for like
we couldn't leave campus. We couldn't leave campus because of COVID. Like I was locked down, bro. Like locked down, no access to anything. Like
they couldn't Amazon something and like you lift in the field, like.
My strength coaches helped me out. Like they sent me some workouts and like I was sending them some videos so they'll give me virtual feedback. But
they wouldn't like running drills with you and nothing or getting you trained or setting anything up.
No 1-on-1. And so I'm masking my emotions 4 times. The Navy does a pro day. I do it. You know what I'm saying? Even though I've been asking for one since January, we didn't get it. It is what it is, right? Then everything worked out, right? Got the call from the Bucks. Everything's good, even playing field. Get back from rookie mini camp. And they say I can't go play, right? So what's funny is commissioning.
And that's it. But camera.
Go ahead.
I want to stay so brand.
Go ahead.
I want to stay so brand friendly, bro. Can we just really talk about how crazy that situation is? Because I know this episode is about why men don't show their emotions, and I know that we talk about how men and women like express their emotions a different way.
Yeah.
Black men in this country express their emotions in different ways than what white people feel like. Because I feel like white people like would not have to go through any of the hardships you went through as far as like getting any, real help with your career to the NFL. And then a lot of the blocks they put in front of you like didn't need to be put there. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I know we got to keep the brand friendly, but when we talk about men and hiding their emotions, especially like us being black men, we can't leave out the fact how most of the spaces we are in require us to be the palatable black man. And to be the palatable Barack Obama black man, you never saw Barack Obama say, and I have to say, y'all got me messed up. I'm not going to deal with this. I've learned too much.
You by the way, brought up a good point, man. You just brought up a huge point that I didn't even think about. Black men in particular have to hide their emotions sometimes due to political reasons, right? And the whole time I went through that NFL struggle with the Navy saying I couldn't play and then me being blasted into the national spotlight on CNN, Fox News, Good Morning America, ESPN, all these interviews, right? I never had an opportunity to really show how I felt because I knew as soon as I showed my emotions, it was done deal. Right,
and you're not even that like. I know people don't like respectability politics, but like you're a very respectable young man. You know what I'm saying? You gave Kamala Harris a gift before giving a speech to her. You were valedictorian in high school, like you know what I'm saying.
So here's the other thing with that. Like we look at the resume, right? And I'm not saying any of this to brag. I'm just saying like
I'm saying it to brag though. You feel me? Because like you really was a valedictorian in high school, and then like what's the office? Like, come on now.
But look, everybody talks about
playing in the Navy, like you was in the military. God, these folks treat you like
everybody talks about playing the game. Everybody talks about playing the game, right? That's the big thing. Like, oh, you have to learn how to play the game. Okay, let's look at it that way, right? I go to the Naval Academy. I become class president, just the fifth African American to do so. First football player since at least 1990, right? I keep my grades up. I'm honor roll every semester, right? Never let my GPA drop below a 3.0. No honor, no conduct offenses. I'm involved in every aspect of the academy, doing community service, team captain of the football team, a finalist for the academic Heisman. You can't say I didn't play the game, right? There's not a speck on my resume. It's nothing they could point to and be like, yeah, this is why we're not going to let them play it. And so I play the game, and then it comes to me having this opportunity, and it still gets taken away, right? Yet I get blasted into the national spotlight, and I still got to get up there and act like it's all okay whether it goes either way, right? And I think what you just hit on is huge, man. Like those political aspects of society causes you to have to mask a lot of these emotions. And I ultimately feel like it messed me up in the back end because once I finally got out that national spotlight and I did get the reversal, right? It's like cool, but at the same time, it's like, bro, I went through all that for what? Like you had 3 kids from Air Force, 1 guy from Army. You know, none of them looked like me and they had no issues.
Caucasian, right? From the mountains of Caucasus.
3 of them still playing right now in the NFL.
Come on now.
So I'm like, man.
I bet they had a pro day. I bet they was getting trained.
None of them went through nothing I went through, right? And so it was tough for me for this past year to finally be like, you know, it's okay. You know, like God has a plan. But at the same time, it's like, yo, what if I would have been treated the same as everybody else?
Hey, man.
You feel me? It's like, yo, like.
We're going to get into some real spill right now because I'm going to say we both, you know what I'm saying, we come off as like very different, but we are essentially like been best friends for a minute. We go about things very differently, but I feel like we both understand the shook and jive. We just manifest different.
100%.
Like I'm like you've been having to go through, you know, private schools, NFL, you know, Navy Academy. Me, I've like been in this corporate world. I understand the shook and jive, and I also understand like being what we are, taller Black men with like a voice and something to say. And something that we could add to whatever environment we're in, that's extremely threatening. Like I found like, and I know everybody links things to like trauma, but like my whole life, you know me, I've been pretty much the same height my whole life.
Yeah.
My voice has pretty much sound the same my whole life, at least since I was like 12, 13, right?
Fact.
I was in so many situations where like I was perceived as threatening just because of like how I talk. Like I had to mold myself into what I am right now to be corporate and palatable. You know, you go to Apple and they tell you can't say you feel me, or you're in high school and they're having conversations about sending you to alternative schools saying that you assaulted a teacher just because you said, I'm not going to leave my phone in this room. Because the thing is, like, say for instance, right now, I'm extremely palatable, right? You know what I'm saying? You might let me in a corporate office, you might let me speak, but I come around like this, you know what I'm saying? Let folks know they got me messed up. Like, hey, y'all wild. I can't believe y'all ain't let me have a pro day, bro. Like, this is crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really getting discriminated against. That's not going to be as palatable for the white man, but it might be coming from a place where you really can intellectualize your feelings or whatever you have to do for that white audience. But they're scared of Black people. And I'm sick of, and of course, it's manifested like in worse ways, like say with Kanye. He's going like way over the top, right?
Right.
But Black men, and this is like my biggest beef for Barack Obama, because I know it's not real beef, you feel me? Like, it's not like I hate Barack Obama, I feel like he's a bad person. But every single Black man after Obama, after he called us, you know what I'm saying, thugs for rioting and so forth and such, I understand he understands the Black plight. I get it. We have to be that. He went 8 years, didn't have an outburst. No matter what happened, no matter how Black people were treated, no matter what injustice were happening or things that he found out about this broken system, he still had to steer the ship, and he had to be upright. And I love America. And then you look at someone like LeBron, you know what I'm saying, track record clean. Anytime he might yell at somebody, they might talk about how he's not a good leader. I don't understand how Black men in America can move forward while still having to, you know, code switch and be the palatable Black man. And that goes for Black men and women, but we're talking about why Black men hide their emotions. Every Black man, in my eyes, like almost turns into a sociopath when it comes to their emotions, whether you call it stoicism or anything. Like, everything has to be calculated. I'm in this space, so I can't talk in this certain way. I can't say this. You know, everything has to be like chess moves, whereas whatever emotion anyone else is feeling in any space, like, they feel it's almost like they have more worth than us in these rooms.
Yeah, there's a lot more leeway, right? And I've never honestly thought about this until you brought this up. Like, I'm now thinking back to a lot of times where I've had to conserve my emotions, not because I was trying to be the bigger person, but because if I would have displayed them, it would have changed how other people view me, and that's harmful. And I think
not even thinking about your track record.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, I can't mess this up, or I'm not gonna be able to do this. But I'm gonna go ahead and say this: like, anger is perceived differently with races. Like, amongst different races, anger is perceived differently, right? Like, we can look at the mass shootings. You see a white person shoot up a church or a school, it's a mental health disorder. A black person shoots one person, he's a thug. Or even when you see a black man get killed by police, what's the picture that they display to the media?
They find the most thugged out picture. They find him doing at a club somewhere. He could work at a church. He could be the president. They're gonna find that one picture he got in the tank top.
Exactly. And it's like, yo, like, now that we're talking about this, like, I think that's why some black men hide their emotions. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because there's a lot at stake. And if I truly let you know how I feel, now I'm not playing your games. Now I'm not playing to your rules, and I won't be in the position that I'm in. And that's what I found myself in when I got blasted in the spotlight. It's like, yo, every interview, every response, truth be told, calculated. Like, it's like, this is what I'm going to say if they ask me this. This is what I'm going to say if they ask me.
You almost got to be Batman with the black man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody tweets me something, I got to let it go. Because if I respond now, I'm a angry black man. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing goes for black women. Honestly, it's like that angry black women thing. But
don't let a black woman get angry.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I think that's huge, though. But I don't want to be stuck on that too long. That's major right there. Like, black men black men in particular hide their emotions because of political. But I think it's also important to go back to what you were saying, like, in men in general, in society, they paint this picture of what a man is supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And when you don't fit that, you're less of a man. How do you feel like that contributes to, like, the emotions thing?
I always go back, like, I hate that I'm like perceived as I know I might be that way as like very militant, you know, always going back to the black plight. But you talk about how if a white person shoots up a school, it's mental illness, he was getting bullied, and if a black person shoots a black guy, it's black on black crime.
Right.
We don't have a lot of role models, and that manifests in so many different ways. It manifests in just how we act, period. Because like a lot of the times you can look around, let Drake drop an album and he cut the American flag in the back of his head. Everybody gonna have the American flag in the back of their head. You feel me? 100%. You know what I'm saying? Tyler the Creator acts this way. Everybody rocks that drip. A lot of the times, black communities led by these rappers.
I ain't rocking nothing Tyler the Creator wear, bro.
Bro, you got different aspects of black people. You know what I'm saying? You only listen to what you can work out to.
That's not true, bro. I be listening to the old school.
I
ain't gonna lie, I'm trying to really get
old school because of me.
I'm trying to really just get into like gospel rap, bro. I'm trying to cut out all that mess.
Yeah, okay, we finna get off topic, but can we just talk about how these gospel raps would be low key corny, bro?
Nah, I ain't gonna lie to you though, bro. TikTok be
shout out this dude.
I found the hard gospel rappers, bro.
I think it's this dude named I forgot what his name was. It's some hard ones, but I don't know why.
Like Titan hard. I'm not gonna I'm not just saying this because you go to our church, bro. But I mess with a lot of stuff Titan Pop drop. Even Corey Curtis, you know what I'm saying? Like I mess with a lot of
dropping?
Yeah, Corey dropping.
What's the I ain't gonna lie. I ain't been tapped in with anything one accord in so long. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
Hey, you tripping, cuz you gotta get back in the church, bro.
No, on the cast. But I ain't gonna lie, we can get into that because people don't know, like, we grew up together. Went to the same church. How I was perceived and how you were perceived were two different things.
100%.
We could. Because you were short, light skin with curly hair. I remember the first time I met you. You know the first thing you said to me?
What I say,
you said, and we can bleep this later. We were sitting in church, and you were like, "Oh, I text this girl. I typed LMAO. You know what that means? Laughing my ass off." And you was really tripping off
hey,
of that.
You Kevin, I didn't say that, bro.
We don't gotta get into it on the cast.
Hey, since you want to do that though, first time I met you, bro. You talking about first time church. First time I met you, we fresh off the road trip. My mama like, yo, we gotta go to the new pastor crib. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I ain't trying to go there. She like, oh, you got a son, whatever. I'm like, y'all kick with. I'm like, man, nah. Now we pull up to the crib. This man Tyler is upstairs playing a skateboard game on the Xbox, blasting the Eminem, blasting the AC/DC rock music. Thick the old glasses. Skateboard, cuz. Then we play 2K. This man want to start cheating and turn his game sliders up because I was tagging that shit. Come with lame, did them all. Oh my goodness. Hey, I ain't gonna even do you like that. Bring up the birthday party. I'm gonna say that.
We ain't gotta bring up the birthday party because you messing up scenes and shows now. I gotta put the trauma in the show. You feel me? Shout out Somewhere in Memphis coming soon. You know what I'm saying? Go to TTN Productions. You know what I'm saying? Rock with us.
Tap in, though. My boy definitely.
But not for real.
We got the
you know how nerdy and lame or whatever. Like I was, right?
Yeah, fast though.
I was still perceived way different than anybody else. I remember when I was living in South Memphis, but my mom didn't want me to go to Carver because that joint was like lean on me. So she didn't want me gangbanging or nothing. So she used to drive me 40 minutes to go to school in Mississippi every morning. I used to use Quentin's address. I used to go to Quentin's house after school, and they got mad at me because I had snuck a Pop-Tart one day. I snuck some snack. They got mad at me. I had a on his iPod. I'm tripping.
Was it brown sugar though? Was it brown sugar?
It might have been the brown sugar jack.
If it was brown sugar, it was worth it. But if it was strawberry, you tripping.
Nah, I wouldn't risk it all for the strawberry jack. That brown sugar would come in like
that joint buzzing.
That joint coming like the Lost Ark in Indiana Jones. That joint was just beaming and glowing. But nah, for real. I was going to school in DeSoto Central, bro. When I say I went to DeSoto Central from 7th grade to 9th grade, and then 10th grade, I moved to Cordova with my dad. I don't know if he was lying or not. But he was like, you broke the record for most write-ups at the school, right? I had like
DeSoto Central or Germantown?
That was before I even got out of middle school at DeSoto Central.
Yeah, write-ups, cuz.
I got, bruh, 63 of them. Never cussed nobody out. Never got in a fight at school. Never stole anything. Never didn't gangbang, didn't do nothing. I was getting kicked out. I was getting in trouble for dumb stuff. Like,
hey, I ain't gonna lie to, bro. If I see you with them bulky bodyguards.
You gonna send me to the office?
Hey, I want to see you with the protective glasses on.
I was still deemed as a threat. They tried to send me to alternative school twice.
Hey, them glasses was a threat, my boy.
They tried to give me 180 twice. They tried to give me 180 in Germantown, and they was really gangbanging in Germantown. Folks pulling up with a strap there. But like crazy. For real, I feel like there's two types of black men. There's Barack Obama types and there's everybody else. If you don't fit into that archetype, if you're not palatable, if you don't know how to, manage how you speak in these rooms and so forth and such, you're not gonna make it. Whereas like white men can be all fat, sloppy at the crib. I be at work and it's this one guy, he be loud and abrasive on the headset, just walking around on Zoom meetings like, yeah, I have to adjust the KPIs. Loud as a mug. Everybody can hear his main business meeting. I can't walk around and be loud in the meetings.
You unprofessional.
And
you're not professional.
I feel like when we talk about Barack Obama and we talk about role models, you think that I'd be mad at Barack Obama because he didn't drop reparations off at everybody's front door. I'd be mad at Barack Obama because regardless of legislation, he did not take any points to stand up for us. Like once he was done being president, now he all Black Lives Matter and writing letters after riots and whatnot. And I understand these people aren't perfect.
I feel you on that.
I'm not mad at him. It's just a society thing, like how we view things as America. We all know that man couldn't sneeze on stage without ending up on Fox News. I remember they put him on Fox News and like we're talking about him saying that he wasn't from here. I remember one time they got mad because he was using like Dijon. He asked for Dijon mustard.
I mean, even when he wore that tan suit, he got in trouble.
Bruh.
So they placed him in a bubble, which is like that's a greater point to hit on. Is like, yo, like when you get placed in that bubble, you're also bottling all these emotions up because you can't show them. And so it's like, it's not that Obama didn't feel that way. It's like your society didn't allow him to display that. And I feel like because of that, he was forced to hide that. And I think that's something that black men deal with on a daily, especially if we start talking about in the professional sense. Because what does it mean to be professional, right? You have these people in corporate America, you have these people in politics, you have these people in the military. On a daily, they have to constrain their emotions. And then one thing happens and they respond to it the way they've been wanting to respond to it. And now it's like, oh, they lost their cool. Oh, they can't control their emotions. Oh, they're a hoodlum. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's tough, man. That's tough to deal with. And society has to understand that that's a thing, right? Not only is it a thing in that area, but when a black man is forced to bottle his emotions all day at work, and then he comes home to his family, what do you think happens? He can't, you know, at some point you got to stop being a superhero, right? Like, at some point that stuff is just going to come out. And unfortunately, it backlashes on his family sometimes, you know? And like,
here's the thing with that. And this is why it's so important to have these conversations and try to get black people to move as a unit on things, because I don't feel like we move as a unit on anything. I feel like the only thing that we collectively agree on is being able to say nigga and use drip. But like, you know, what else and we probably can't agree on that if you ask the elders and whatnot or a hotep. But like, for real, if black people were able to move as one, we wouldn't have to go into these spaces faking, because the other ones of us aren't faking. When, say for instance, even the way we talk and places we come from, we have to talk like they do, or else we're deemed as unintelligent. But and not to, you know, be discriminatory. If you're British or Indian or Arabian or whatever,
I have an issue.
Like these businesses, like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I went to this Indian restaurant and the man, the food was delicious, but the man was like not even making eye contact with us, really. Like, he would ignore us sometimes. But you feel me? They can run their stuff like that because there was nothing but Indian people in there. But I feel like us, we're all like playing the white man's game, being as palatable as however we need to be, and not moving as a unit and saying that we're not going to allow certain things to happen to us.
Right. But I agree and disagree, especially when it comes to talking, right? Like, I don't think there's a such thing as talking white. I think that's a negative thing that we've displayed in our community, because being able to enunciate and pronounce words, that's just proper communication.
Yeah, but you can't lie, bro. Some people do be putting they white voice on.
I mean, I'm not going to say white voice. Some people do talk to appeal to white people. I feel like that's different.
Bro, well, you add more words.
No. Talking to appeal to white people and putting your white voice on, like, a voice.
Just shorten it, just abbreviated.
A voice cannot be
appeal to white people.
You cannot put a race to a voice.
White talk.
No.
You want to call it white talk?
I grew up my whole life, people say I talk white. It's like, no, I don't talk white. I just speak well. I think there's a difference. I think
bro, this is my thing with people. This is my thing.
I speak well. I can talk. I can communicate clearly. That does not make me sound white. That just means I know how to pronunciate and enunciate certain words.
But this is the thing. You talking like this right now. You know, you're talking like how you regularly talk. You feel me? When you get into these certain spaces, this is what people be like. Oh, how do I act white? Because I'm enunciating my words and I'm using my proper INGs and ERs. Like, there's a difference. I understand. Like, we both enunciate. We don't talk like we from Freya. We don't say music. You feel me? But exactly. I feel like when we get into these spaces with white people, we have to water ourselves down to appeal to white people. When you go to an Indian restaurant, I don't got to act like I got an Indian accent.
I mean, 1,000%, right? You get into some of these business meetings and interviews and you feel like you have to speak in a certain manner. Like, I 1,000% get that. But we also have to understand, right? Like, I'm not putting race behind this, but how you communicate matters. Like, communication is one of the most important skills in America. Now, let me tell you the issue. We don't promote communication in our public school system, which is why we never master that skill. And that's one thing I'm like really focused in right now, is like pushing that into some of our schools' curriculum, because communication is honestly can be the difference between a promotion and a demotion. Or the difference between you getting a job and not getting, or getting into a school and not getting to school. And that doesn't make you white. It doesn't make you black. your ability to get your ideas and thoughts across clearly is communication. It's not really how you say it. It's like your ability to get
That's a different thing. That's word choice. That's a different thing.
Right.
If you like, of course, if we're going to teach communication, we can talk semantics, we can talk coffee table talk, we can talk what's appropriate to say here, we can talk about how to convey a message.
Exactly.
We can talk about we can have some key results of how we're talking. But when it comes to how it sounds when it leaves my voice, that's where I have an issue with, because we can have a different conversation about, you know, acting white and people looking at someone who might be listening to rock music or playing skateboard games.
Yeah,
but for real, when I talk about this, I'm not saying that, you know, we can just go however talking like whatever, man. Like, you know, hey, this is how I'm coming. This is how I'm real.
Yeah.
But we have to stop pretending. Like, sometimes when I'm at work, it feels like I'm in the Twilight Zone.
No matter where every day I put the uniform on.
It's insane to me. Like, even your situation with the NFL, like, you had to play hopscotch, you had to do the, you know, the tap dance.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm only one of two black officers at my command. You know what I'm saying?
Barack Obama was the first black president. He had to act a certain way.
You know, you're
placing. But it's just like, but it's to what end?
The issue, though, I think the issue is society doesn't acknowledge that. They try to act like it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't matter, then let me be who I truly am.
What group of people is forced to not have an accent?
Nah, facts. It's us.
If I was Irish, I could be like, hey, bro, if I like, I can do an Irish accent, top of the morning. Like, I could talk like that, but I can't come into my job and be like, what's going on?
That's deemed unprofessional. I can't even, you know what I'm saying? In the military, this is one thing I have a problem with. Is like, they say like certain hairstyles are unprofessional. What makes a hairstyle unprofessional?
If it's worn by black people or not. Come on now, we get into the real talk.
If I got a clean fade, right, because I use the sponge on my hair, how does that mean it's unprofessional? Let's talk about it, right?
Let's talk about it. But all of this goes into
where does that terminology come from? If a black woman wants to, you know what I'm saying, have her hair a certain way naturally, like, just because a white woman can't do that with her hair, how does that make it unprofessional for a black woman?
Bro, I remember back in high school, like, you could see the black girls who hung out with white girls because how their hair looked, and they all got fined once they stopped hanging out with white people.
You know what I'm saying? Because they embrace who they are, right? And it's like all of that ties into like hiding emotions. Because as soon as we show some of those emotions, there's an issue. It's like, oh, he can't control his emotions. Like, nah, I'm just tired of not being able to express who I truly am. And I think that's big, and it comes down to vulnerability, validation. It comes down to all that, like your willingness to be who you truly are. Once you have the ability to just be who you truly are confidently, you stop dealing with a lot of these emotions that we see in society. You know what I'm saying? Like the anxiety, the fear, the depression. Like, once you just embrace who you are and you are who you are, then you don't care about what other people are saying. And like, being able to express how you feel doesn't matter because you're not worried about how other people will perceive it. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's huge. But I know, like, we're running long on time, but like, I also want to bring up a very important point in why men hide their emotions: upbringing. You know what I'm saying? Like, how a boy is raised into a man is different between how a girl is raised into a woman. I truly feel like that's the case. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I really feel like that, but, you know, as far as like how we're raised, like a lot of, like, say, the black community, not a lot of it, because it's just like the status are skewed to be racist, but there are people who are growing up without father figures or mother figures, like whatever they would need to like build that healthy family dynamic. But I just feel like as far as like moving forward as a people and maybe making white people less scared of us, we got to all redefine what it means to be black, like what it means to carry ourselves. Like, I feel like I see black booty and breasts on the TV more than I see any other race. I feel like I see us championing OnlyFans and having sex with 500 women every day and shooting somebody across the street and popping perks and so forth and such. And I do understand, like, black people are not a monolith. People like catch that word and like start using it for forever. But as I said before, they see us as one people. We have to act as one people. We got to all move on the same foot, or it's going to be hard for us to walk into these white spaces and not have to appeal to the white person. But it's going to require people to be willing to break that barrier.
You know,
break the twilight zone.
You just gave us our next episode topic, man. What does Black unity look like?
So listen.
Because I know we talked about what is Black culture in season 2, which is kind of identifying like what different parts of the culture like celebrate. But like next episode, bro, what does Black unity look like? Like what will it look like for all of us to come together? Because I truly think it's like a neutral ground, right? Like you have the token Black people, you have the people who, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to categorize them because I'm not calling them anything because a lot of that has to do with their circumstances and environment.
Well, I mean, you can talk about them because you're a token Black male.
I'm not a token Black man. I'm not a token Black man. I don't want to be referred to as a token Black man because I'm very in tune with my culture and I'm
sorry
with the Black community. You know what I'm
saying? You play the token white man, Black man.
I am not Ben Carson. That's what we're not gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you might not be Ben Carson, but you might be Cornel West or Don Lemon.
Hey, you know it's crazy. I talked to Don Lemon, man. He cool people, you know. But nah, like I'm very in tune. Like I will never get to the point to where I give up on the Black community. Like that's very big for me. Like even now, I'm still constantly trying to find ways that I can help, particularly Memphis because that's where we from. But how can I help these kids and these communities, even though I'm all the way across the country? You know what I'm saying? Because that stuff matters to me, bro. Because one thing I've realized is like, in order to truly live your life to the fullest, then you have to pour into other people. Like a lot of people get so stuck in trying to elevate themselves that they run themselves to the ground. But I think the true value in life is like the impact that you leave on the lives of others. Like it's becoming a person of value, not a person of success. And I think from my NFL journey and getting cut and trying to get back to that pedestal that I was at, that I've honestly been working my whole life to fill, right? I was so focused on chasing success, and in that I lost my identity. And now I'm finally getting back to like becoming a person of value, and I'm identifying the things that even got me to the NFL. It was never really football skills. It was like who I was as a person and like the things that I was pouring into other people. And now I'm finally realizing that again. And it goes back to the episode, like being vulnerable with your emotions. Like I had to stop ignoring what I was feeling and just truly just take the time to look in the mirror and be like, yo, this is what you feel like. Let's address it. You know what I'm saying? Any anger you have, any depression you have, any sadness, like, yo, let's address all that. Because you can't, I truly feel like as a person, you cannot accomplish what you need to in life if you don't deal with that inner work. And it all, and I'm, you know, Christian man, it all, God talks about this in the Bible. Emotional intelligence didn't start with the first psychologist or neuroscientist who coined the term emotional intelligence. It started with the Bible. God talks about emotional intelligence in the Bible. He talks about being slow to anger. You know what I'm saying? Slow to react. You know, he talks about the wise man being able to control his emotions. He talks about the kind of emotions that we need to focus on. You know, he talks about the fruit of the Spirit. Like, you know, like these are things that God talks about in the Bible. And in order to accomplish the purpose that God has for you, you have to go back and read some of these verses and to really understand, like, yo, this is who God wants us to be as a human. God created us as emotional humans. And so when people talk about, oh, you shouldn't feel emotions, that's nonsense. Like, we are emotional humans. Like, Jesus felt emotions. Like, everybody in the Bible felt emotions. You saw Jonah feel emotions when he ran away from God out of fear, and he ended up in the mouth of a whale. Samson, same thing. You saw him experience emotions. You saw King David experience emotions of he lacked self-control. You know what I'm saying? He had this lust, this desire, and it ended up in him committing adultery and murder. So like, we aren't the first people to feel this. This isn't anything new, but the difference is how we respond to it. And I think that's what we have to understand as a society.
Yeah, man. You hit the head, the nail in the what's the joint?
Coffin.
The nail in the hole.
Nail in the coffin, ain't it?
Nail in the coffin.
Nail in the coffin, cuz. Man, I
No,
feel
that
like
was,
honestly, bro.
we gotta start moving together so we can get past. If we're gonna talk about Black unity next time, I'm gonna tell y'all to make sure y'all stop game banging and stop messing with men who don't have a reason to check their email. We're gonna get into it next week. And like I said, 75% of our viewers are not subscribed, so make sure you subscribe to us. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Anchor or Spotify or whatever streaming platform you use for podcasts, make sure you hit notify for us. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you listen to the whole thing.
I'm also about to put the plug out. Like, yo, we are accepting all sponsorships, advertisements. Like, yo, get at us, business email, contact.undertherugpodcast@gmail.com. That's right.
Contact.undertherug@gmail.com.
Contact.undertherug.
We're gonna put that under the thing. Contact.undertherug@gmail.com.
Hey, contact us, man. Like any sponsorships, advertisements. Hey, and we are about to start putting guests into this because I know y'all just don't want to hear our opinions. Y'all want to get somebody else in here so we can get under the rug. Like, let's do it, man. If you want to get with us, collab, like, yo, hit us up, let us know. But look, if you hopping on the podcast, you cannot be on your iPhone on Zoom. We got to keep it professional. Like, you got to have a camera, webcam, or something. Get a little setup. You can't be in the car on Zoom, connection going in and out. Like, let us know you got a little setup. But we accepting them, so let's get it.
We might do an episode with call-ins, let you get in and out. If you got questions, that's when we go live.
Yeah, we're going to go live too, man. Let us know what you hear. Have some interactive conversation. But I truly feel like, bro, like last episode, season 3, episode 1, I feel like that joint was heavy. I feel like season 3, episode 2 is heavy. So I like this new platform, man. I like where it's taking us, bro. For real, for real.
You know what I'm saying? We taking guests. We out here. I need y'all to understand, don't sleep on the black man. Don't sleep on Cameron Kinley. Stop putting that man in chains. Let the man live. Let the man be the black king that he is.
Hey, I love my job. I love the military, man.
He loves America. And he loves Joe Biden. And he loves... And the rocket's red glare. The bombs bursting in air.
Hey, don't let this man fool you, man. I love serving our country. I love being
serving the country.
I just think, it's time to add some more perspective in different areas. But, hey, like my boy said, man, like, comment, subscribe, the whole 9. Follow us at UTR, the podcast. We about to start filtering more of our content to our pages. You know what I'm saying? UTR, the podcast. As always, it's your boy, your co-host at CK3 The Thrill in the social media world. And I'm joined here with my other co-host, you know what I'm saying?
Honorable T-Note. AKA Frankie Lyman,
TTM Productions,
AKA TTM Productions,
hey,
AKA Moneybags.
The next biggest thing in the black production world. Don't
out here. Tyler Perry hit me up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not scared to wear a toupee. I'm not scared to go besides somebody here for the scene. You know what I'm saying? I can shave. Like I said, I can shave off the beard, get the goatee. You know what I'm saying? Put me in a tank top. I'm in that giant. Don't nobody care about your dead dad.
Hey, you hear him, man. Hire my boy. Best actor out the city. But appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. We out. You feel me?
We out here.